From the home of the Widener Pride, this is WidenerPride.com as we continue our series of preseason interviews for the 2014 spring season. I am joined by baseball coach Mike LaRosa. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Derek.
Coach, return trip to the Commonwealth Conference tournament last year. You had 5 players named All-Conference. 3 of them are back. We'll start with Rob Barth, second-team All-League at least 6 times last year, he pitched at least 7 innings. Talk about him, what he used the rotation.
Yeah, Rob was our number one, number 2 of the staff last year, and what you just said is the fact that he can go deep into games, and we know that when we give him the ball, we're typically going to get quality outing for him. That puts him in line, this year most likely to be our Friday starter. That 9-inning game, again, he's a guy that can go deep into the game, allows us to keep our bullpen well rested going into a Saturday doubleheader in conference, so it gives us a lot of options. Rob's been working hard, and we think he's going to, continue in that role again for us this year.
You look at Matt Shearer, who was second-team All-Conference last year, gives you a lot of options between the outfield and the infield. Yep. Talk about him and his role this year.
Sure. Defensively, Matt started out in the infield last year and ended up transitioning to the outfield. That's probably where we're going to be looking at him. Kind of be a mainstay this year is more in corner outfield position. It was an adjustment for him a little bit, but now that he's been working out with the outfielders, on a daily basis, I think he's definitely getting more comfortable in that role. Offensively, he's pretty versatile offensively. He has speed, he has some good pop in his bat too. As far as you can really bat him anywhere in the lineup. He's a guy that can get on base, he can run some base, steal bases for us. Again, he has that power potential, that gap-to-gap power that we're looking for somebody to drive. We need to drive and runs and get some extra base hits out of too.
And then you look at Mike Reverso, who was honorable mention All-League last year. Does it all offense and defense. Talk about him at first base and what he means to the team.
Sure, yeah. Mike, again, another guy, transitioned last year. Was typically an outfielder. We moved him to first base last year just due to, some needs that we had. And, he did a great job at first. That's, again, where we're going to be looking at him. This year he's, solely going to be a first baseman to start out. Offensively, he's a middle-of-the-order kind of guy. He's got power in his bat. He's an RBI guy. The other thing that Mike brings to the table is he puts together really good at-bats. He goes deep into counts, fouls a lot of pitches off, draws a lot of walks. So he's kind of a pest in that middle of the order too. That pitchers don't like facing him. So he's a pretty good weapon offensively for us as well.
And finally, Kyle Summers will be your starting second baseman this year. Last year, COSIDA Academic All-Region and a member of the Philadelphia Inquirer Academic All-Area team. Let's talk about him and what he means to the squad on and off the field.
Yeah, Kyle is that role model player, somebody that underclassmen can look up to, and just the way he goes about his business on a daily basis, it's always professional, always works hard, always does everything that's asked of him, and he does it in a quiet way. He's not that vocal leader, he's that leader by example. And academically, he's 4.0 engineering student. The kid kind of just does it all, and it's really impressive. And those are the types of players that we really try and model our program after, and the types of players that we search for from a recruiting standpoint. And I was fortunate enough just to recruit Kyle, or rather to inherit Kyle when I came on board. So, it's been a pleasure having him on board for sure.
Well, the season opens for the Pride on February 22nd when they play at Gallaudet. We thank baseball coach Mike LaRosa for joining us, and we thank you for your support of Widener University Athletics.